All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Hakodash. Shalom to Allah Akim, preaching His word in truth and in sincerity and in faith. It's the brother Yeshaya back with another lesson, and the title of the lesson is going to be Incrementalism for the Mark of the Beast, right? Which, I seen this on Twitter, so I pulled up this article real quick, and this is from foxnews.com. So it says RFK Jr. to encourage Americans to use wearable tech to track their health. Yeah, so he wants you to wear smart watches, right? He wants you to wear wristbands that's going to track your health information, right? And it might track a little more, right? So I got the definition for the word incrementalism, right? So it says incrementalism refers to a decision-making approach characterized by making small, gradual changes over time. Yeah, so they make small changes over time, right? 1 minute it's a watch, it's a wristband. The next minute it's the RFID microchip, right? Because they want to track your health. They want to make sure America is healthy. That's his whole shtick, right? I believe they say Maha, make America healthy again. Here it is. This guy RFK Jr. is the health secretary, but this man doesn't know anything about health. He's not a doctor, right? And the crazy part is, Trump's whole thing is DEI, right? When speaking about Israelites in any type of position, right? Any good position, he'll say they're a DEI, right? Didn't earn it, right? But if you look at the vast majority of his administration, they're not qualified for the roles that they've been given. This man right here is not qualified to be a health secretary, right? They got videos of this dude going to tanning salons, right? When tanning salons give you skin cancer, he looks like he has skin cancer. He looks like he's about to drop dead any minute now, but he's the health secretary, right? So this dude thinks he's being slick, right, by talking about, oh yeah, I want everybody to start wearing wearable tech, right, to track your health, to keep track of your health, right? This is the way we gonna get America. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever. Everybody gonna start wearing smartwatches so they can become healthy. How is a smartwatch ain't gonna make you exercise, right? You put on a smartwatch and all of a sudden the weight just starts flying off. So it says incrementalism refers to a decision-making approach characterized by making small, gradual changes over time rather than attempting sweeping or radical reforms. So they're not going to come out of nowhere and say, okay, everybody got to take the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip. No, they're going to make small changes. They're going to try to get you used to it, right? They're going to try to familiarize, right, you with it. So then when it's presented to you, it's not going to be looked at as a huge change, right? So it says small gradual changes. Incrementalism emphasizes making modifications to existing policies or processes in small, manageable steps. It says this approach allows decision makers to test changes. Yeah, so that's what they do when they throw these different things out, right? They want to test how people react to it. They want to test how willing people are, right? If people are going to accept these changes or not. It says this approach allows, which that whole CV-19, that was a big test, right? They wanted to see if they can force people to take something that they didn't want to take, right? Which was the jab. It says this approach allows decision makers to test changes, observe their outcomes, and make adjustments as needed based on feedback and new information. Yeah, so the whole thing is they make small changes, see how you react to it, and then that's when the big changes come, which the big change is the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast. So it says U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said on Tuesday that it is his vision that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years. Why does it have to be every American? Right, because they want every American to get an RFID microchip. It says within 4 years. It says he made the comments regarding devices like smartwatches, smart rings, which I ain't never heard of no smart ring, and fitness trackers to members of Congress. This is silly. This is childish. Everybody wears smartwatches. That's not gonna make you healthy. Wearing a smartwatch ain't gonna change your diet. Wearing a smartwatch ain't gonna make you exercise, right? The vast majority of Americans are lazy. They just want to sit on the couch and watch Netflix all day. It says smart rings and fitness trackers to members of Congress, adding that the Department of Health and Human Services is about to launch one of the biggest advertising campaigns in HHS history to encourage Americans to use wearables. Yeah, if anybody with half a brain, this dude presented this idea to you, you'd have been like, this is stupid. This is a waste of time. This is a waste of money. But this is not what it's about. It's not about wearing smartwatches. It's about trying to familiarize you with the chip, right? Get you get you comfortable with being tracked, right? Your health information, right? Your heart rate. Esau wants to know everything about you. It says Kennedy said during a hearing before the House Committee on Energy and Commerce's Subcommittee on Health that wearables are a way people can take control of their own health. They can see, as you know, what food is doing to their glucose levels, their heart rates, and a number of other metrics as they eat it, which I don't know any smartwatch that can measure your glucose level, right? It says he told members of Congress, and they can begin to make good judgments about their diet, about their physical activity, about the way that they live their lives. Yeah, wearing a smartwatch isn't going to change anything. It says the health secretary said he has had friends who have utterly changed their lives just from wearing a glucose meter. And this is this guy's research, right? His research is he has friends that have changed their lives by wearing a glucose meter. It says who have lost weight while monitoring their diabetes. It says shares of continuous glucose monitoring devices makes Abbott and Dexcom were up 3.6% and 10% respectively in afternoon trading, right? Let me see. Yeah, so that's basically it. This guy's whole great idea is that for people to wear smartwatches and monitor their glucose level, and that's gonna somehow make them healthy. He's not healthy himself, so how he gonna tell you how to be healthy, right? But the whole point is not about health. It's not about making America healthy. It's about getting you used to being tracked, getting you used to your information being monitored, right? Always being connected, right? Always being, because a lot of people they from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to sleep, they got this watch on. They wear their watch to sleep, right? These different smart watches and different devices, they wear it while they're sleeping, they wear it while they're awake. So from start to finish, this thing has a lot of information about you, right? How many steps you're taking, your heart rate. This thing knows when you're awake, knows when you're asleep, right? Because I believe your heart rate drops when you're sleeping, right? So it can know all of this different information. So it's going to be tracking you throughout the whole entire day, and that's what it's all about. So this is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11. It says, lest Satan, and I believe I was looking at one of the articles, and in the comment section somebody was like, oh, you're not gonna trick me with this beast system, right? So a lot of people, they're not falling for the okie doke, right? Only the stupid sheeple of America are gonna fall for this, right? Because a lot of Americans are brain dead. They don't know their left from the right, right? The scripture says that folly is set in great dignity. That's what these Americans worried about. They worried about nothing but folly. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, right? That word Satan goes into adversary, right? Esau, Edom being the chief adversary of the Israelites, also being a chief adversary of the world, right? This man is an enemy of humanity, right? He wants to destroy humanity. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Yeah, we're not ignorant of the tricks of Satan, right? The traps, right? We're not ignorant of his incrementalism, right? We know what this is leading to. Everything is leading to the RFID microchip, and ultimately he wants complete and utter control of everything. He wants to know what you're doing, when you're doing it. He wants access to your health records. He wants access to your bank accounts, right? He wants everything, all your information to be in one place, right? So that it's easily accessible, right? So this is the book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 9. It says, "And that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent." Yeah, in the book of Genesis, the 3rd chapter speaks about the serpent, right, which is Esau, Edom, right? It says that old serpent called the devil. It says the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, right? That word subtle goes into being, to a certain degree, deceptive, right? Esau is very deceptive. It says that old serpent called the devil. Yeah, that word devil goes into deceiver and also false accuser, right? It says the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. And that's exactly Esau's whole MO, right? He wants to pull the wool over your eyes, right? He's presenting this thing as if it's something that's beneficial for you, right? Everything that he presents to you, it's supposed to be for your benefit. It's supposed to be for your convenience, right? But really, he just wants to have control over you, right? He just wants to exercise power over you, right? He wants to be like the Most High. He wants to know everything about you. He wants to know your thoughts, right? He wants to know when you're eating. He wants to know when you're sleeping, right? I believe they even had like condoms that it can track certain things, which is perverse, right? Showing you how perverse Esau is, right? He wants to know when you being intimate with your woman, right? Esau is a reprobate. It says, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Yeah, the point being is, it says the devil, Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, right? And that's exactly Esau's whole thing, right? Is deception, right? He uses trickery. He uses what they refer to as sleight of hand, right? When somebody uses sleight of hand, they get you looking one way, but the whole time they have you looking at one hand, right? Or they have you looking at one direction, but the whole time they're doing something else in another direction, right? The same with this whole wearable devices, right? He's using it as a means to say, right, we're using this to get America healthy again, but really they're just using it to track you, right? So this is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 15. It says, "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak." Yeah, the image of the beast goes into the doctrine and the philosophy of America, Babylon, which is the beast, right, whose deadly wound was healed, right? Rome, the beast represents Rome, and America is Rome coming back in the reincarnation. It says that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And that's the way you see American society headed, right? Whether it be the left or the right. Democrats, they want to kill you if you don't accept LGBTQism, right? And it's the same with so-called conservatives, right? Look what Donald Trump is doing. Anybody that don't agree with what he says, right, he demonizes them, right? He strips them of certain privileges, right? So that's the whole thing, right? If you don't worship the image of the beast, if you don't accept their ways, right, they want to kill you, right? It says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand." That word mark goes into the word karax, right? Or salaki haragma, right? I believe the root word is karax, which is basically a cutting instrument, right? Karagma, right, says to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Yeah, so that mark is the RFID microchip, right? It's a physical incision, right? Implanting something into your body, right? I believe in the book of Exodus, the 21st chapter, it goes into someone being a servant for life. Basically, you would bore their ear with an awl, right? So you would put a hole in their ear, representing that they are your slaves for life, right? And that's exactly what Esau seeks to do, right? He wants to put that chip in you, which is the same way people brand their animals, letting everybody know this is my animal. I own this animal. That's exactly what Esau seeks to do, right? He wants to brand you, right? It says, and that no man might buy or sell, right? Yeah, if you don't have that chip, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. You're not going to be able to partake in society, right? You're not going to be able to get a job, right? Because you want to get in the building, you got to have that chip. It says, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Yeah, like we seen with the CV19, if you didn't have the jab, you couldn't go to certain places. You couldn't go to concerts. You couldn't go to clubs, or what? You couldn't go to the gym, right? So if you take this chip, if you worship the image of the beast, you're given certain privileges, and if you don't, your privileges are taken away, right? And it's gonna come to the point that they're gonna put you to death for not accepting this mark, right? Which is the RFID microchip. So this is the book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, right? You give in to Esau's way, you accept Esau's philosophies, his doctrines, right? Which is nothing more than Satanism, which is nothing more than you accepting that Esau Edom is your God, right? You worshiping him as a god. It says, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, yeah, if you take that RFID microchip, it says, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone. Yeah, that fire and brimstone represents the nuclear missiles, right? You're gonna be burnt up with nuclear fire. It says, with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Yeah, so if you do worship the beast, the image of the beast, and you accept his mark, the Heavenly Father is going to judge you. The Heavenly Father is going to destroy you, right? So I'm gonna end it right there. Lord willing, you brothers and your sisters were edified. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Mahakadosh. Shalom to the Heavenly Father's elect. Shalom.